Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, depending on where you're listening to us from. This is Biafra Radio. You are welcome to your program, Voice of the Coast. And my name is Kimiowei, Tari, Nemi. We must continue. We must pray as it is our custom to do so. Our Father in heaven, we worship you, for you are God, and there is none else like you. There is no one else like you in all the earth. We thank you for a time like this. We thank you for a day like this. Thank you for gathering your people, for enlightening your people all over the world. We pray for our leader, Mazi, that you keep him safe and sound, and that you fasten his day of freedom, as well as fastening the day of the freedom of the people of Biafra. Our hope is in you, O Lord. We have confidence in no man. We have no confidence. We have not placed our confidence in the weapons of war. We have not placed our confidence in the wisdom of man, but we have placed our confidence in you. For you have never failed, and you will never fail us. This day, I pray for all of your children all over the world, those whose hearts are pure, those whose focus are toward the liberation of your land, the holy land of Biafra. Lord, we pray and we commit all those that are working assiduously. We ask that you keep them safe and sound, protect them from harm's way. Let their businesses prosper wheresoever they are, because they have put their hearts, they have committed themselves towards righteousness, which is to deliver the land of Biafra out of destruction, to deliver the land of Biafra out of domination of the evil ones. All this we pray in the name of Tamara, Shukokika Biama, Ayaba, Azaba, Ogene, Ise, Mopa. First of all, I want to apologize. We have been for starting late, and as well as not being able to come live on the Biafra Radio app, as we have said that we will. You know, there are challenges that we're facing, technical challenges. The next time I come on air, I will make sure that everything is fixed. We are facing some challenges, and that is why we are not live. That is why we are not live right now on Biafra Radio app. But we are live on Facebook, on the Biafra Radio page on Facebook. We are live on Alpha Power Media on Facebook. We are live on Biafra Radio app page on Twitter and on YouTube. Alpha Power Media on Twitter and on YouTube. IPOB UK Media on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. So make sure you're listening to us from any one of these platforms. And make sure you share this gospel so that you will not be listening alone. Share this message so that other people can as well join this broadcast. This is the 28th day of the month of September, the year of our Lord 2023. And today is Thursday. In the Holy Land of Biafra, the time is 5:37 minutes past the hour of 5. 5 p.m., 5:37 p.m. in the Holy Land of Biafra. We must continue. Our topic today says Biafra resources, Britain's spoils of war. Biafra resources, Britain's spoils of war. You know, when you talk about resources, some people think resources is just what you have under the ground. You, as an individual, you are Biafra resources. You are one of Biafra resources. If you have developed yourself, if you have developed your mind to be productive, you are one of Biafra's resources. You have developed your brain, you have gone to school, you have studied, or you have trained yourself in one skill or the other, and you're working, you are a resource. You are an asset. You are Biafra's asset. But today, Biafra's asset belongs to Britain. Britain takes it as a spoil of war. And when I say Britain, I do not just mean Britain, but Britain and her allies. Britain and her friends, which includes the United States, which includes France, and all of them that put their resources together to make sure that Biafra is subdued in the 60s up to 1970. All those people, all those allies of Britain are together benefiting from all the resources of Biafra. Biafra's resources, including the oil and gas on our land. Biafra's resources, including the ingenuity of our engineers and scientists. Biafra's resources. But of course, they will try to suppress the engineers and scientists as much as possible because there is a way those ones to be productive, it will be difficult to control. But the ones that it can control, they'll put them under, like Innocent. Innocent is Biafra's engineer. Innocent is Biafra's resource. But Innocent is being used by the zoo to build armor tanks that they are bringing to Biafra land to kill Biafrans. I do not blame Innocent. He's a businessman. He produces things to make money. What those that are buying it are doing with it is not his fault. And he cannot say no to the government, of course. He'll stop his business. So, Biafra's resources, the minds and ingenuity of Biafrans, Biafra's resources. When I say Britain, you must know that there is nothing like Nigeria in terms of government, governance, principles of government. There is nothing like Nigeria. You only talk about Nigeria when you're talking about when you want to identify people. Like Awolowo said, people within this geographical location and those that are not. So when you want to describe the people living within the geographical location that is called Nigeria, that is when you have Nigeria. That is when you talk about Nigeria. But beyond that geographical space, yeah, they are not Nigeria. You see, that's how it is. You see, that's how it is. That is just how it is. But on this other hand, when you're talking about government, when you're talking about principles of government and all, there is nothing like Nigeria. What you have is Britain running their estates, using the local people to run their estates. Nigeria is British estates, not Nigeria alone. Many African countries are British estates, French estates, Portuguese estates. And that is why you're seeing what is happening in Niger. Niger, to an extent, is likely to be the first African country to have a freedom. Or will I say Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso? Might just be the first countries in Africa to have their freedom. Though I don't know the kind of arrangement that they have with Russia. But for now, it doesn't look like Russia is coming as an oppressor. Of course, looking at the situation of things, Russia doesn't need to be an oppressor. If Russia wants to be powerful, wants to become as powerful as they should be, all they need to do is to give support to countries that are being oppressed for them to be free and for them to be partners. The United States is partnering with Western Europe, with Canada, with Australia. They're not dominating them. They're allowing them to be free. Even though they're dominating us, they're not partnering with us. They're dominating Africa, dominating the Caribbean, and all these other places. But they are partnering with Western Europe, partnering with Australia. The same thing Russia can do in countries in Africa and in Asia. And in China is wise as well. That is what they would do. Because when you have friends that are strong, then you are strong. As it is, Russia is almost being surrounded. So Russia needs friends. It's only wise for Russia to make her friends strong and self-reliant. There was a time Western Europe was weak. The United States supported them because they needed them to be strong. They needed them to be strong because Russia was still there. And they've never liked Russia. their political game with Russia have never aligned. So they needed Western Europe to be strong in order to control the strength, in order to curtail the strength of Russia. So America supported Western Europe, and they are still supporting them till today. When you have strong friends, you will not be afraid to fight. But if all your friends, or all those you call friends, are weak and beggarly, when you need help, there will be nobody to stand for you. So, and I do not believe that Russia is weak. I do not believe that Russia is foolish. So, if the view that I have of Russia, of what they should be doing to save themselves, because what Russia is doing, what many people do not know is that what Russia is doing is to save themselves. Russia is trying to save their own head. They are trying to save themselves. What Russia is doing is to save their own self. It's not to it's not like some people will call it for the Christmas walk. They are trying to expand their friendship so that other people can be strong, because the enemies they face are strong. If Western Europe bonds together, they can give Russia a very good fight if they will not win. That is, if they won't win. Because each of those countries are powerful nations. Each of the countries in Western Europe are powerful nations. Not to talk about the United States over there. So, the vision of Russia should be to make sure that any African nation that wants to be free and strong, they will indeed be free and strong. Or maybe countries in the Caribbean, or all those countries that are now their economic friends, economic partners in the BRICS, Russia and China. That should be their desire. So, with France evacuating Niger, evacuating their soldiers, and cutting off relationship with Niger is good news to Niger. And good news to the Sahel Alliance of Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. Good news to them. They can maintain this and develop their country in the next 10 years. Those countries will be way different. It will be a different ballgame entirely if they continue in this same tempo, because that is one issue with Africans. They have problem with continuity. They have issues with continuity. You start well, tomorrow you break down. And some foolish people are already allowing France to deceive them, to plot coup against people that are doing well in their country, people that are trying to save their lives. They want to plot coup against them and kill them. If there are no foolish people to accept such bribe and such foolishness, Africa would have been free before many of us were born. But because there have always been very foolish people that hate progress, that all they think of is themselves. All they think of is themselves. Very foolish. And it is very painful when you have people that only think of themselves, only think of their own survival, only think of how to amass wealth for themselves alone. They do not think about the dignity of their people. They do not think about the dignity of their nation, the dignity of men in their color. No. They prefer to bow to one stupid man out there and destroy their nation for them. And they're enjoying 2% out of their own resources. They will give you 2% for you and your whole nation to share. You will take 50% out of 2% and keep 1% for your country and keep them in poverty so that you can be controlling them. Are you not stupid? Something that belongs to your country, 100%, you allow the oppressor to take 98% and keep 2% for your whole country. And you're not stupid. All because of your greed. But I thank God Africans are waking up. Africans have woken up. And this is the dispensation of freedom. This is the dispensation of freedom. It's over. France should understand that it is over. As well as Britain must understand that the game is over. We are no longer stupid. We are no longer foolish. The game being played upon us in Africa is over. And that is why we must continue to preach this gospel till every soul is liberated, till every man stands up for what is right. Biafra resources, African resources. The Berlin Conference in the year 1884, held in Germany, Berlin. That was where European countries came together and decided that they will come to Africa, own the people of Africa, own their resources, and do with them as they choose. And they came and they fought and they killed people, committed genocide upon genocide upon genocide for countless years until they assembled all of Africa together in the Western European Alliance, picking different places in Africa as they choose, creating maps and boundaries, drawing Africa the way they choose, joining people that have nothing together initially, and cutting apart people that formerly used to be one. Biafra was broken into about 3 countries. Into Nigeria, into southern Cameroon, into Cameroon, and into, what's the name of this other? Gabon. Some of you do not know. You want a large country, you want a large country. Biafra is a large country. But when the enemies came, they broke her into pieces. Oh, Dua, they did the same thing. But the Yorubas are not even awake. Small bribe of presidency, they have all forgotten Sunday Igboho. They have forgotten all their freedom fighters. They are back to their old greed. Serve Britain and destroy Biafra land, steal from Biafra land. See, there is no amount of stealing that you will steal that will make you rich. Because when you steal, you are not contributing to the universe. It's a simple principle. When you steal, you are taking from the universe. You are not giving. A man that is in business is giving to the universe. So he is, the wealth is him. He is the wealth. So he is giving from the universe and is taking back, he's sowing a seed into the universe and is taking back what he's sowing. But when some other person sow, you go there, you steal. You are owing. Because Nigeria keeps stealing from Biafra land, that is why Nigeria can never be good. Keep stealing from the people. It can never make progress. It can never be good. And all those tribes that have taken themselves, that have put themselves on that line that, oh, we must steal from these people. How far are they faring? Are they doing better than the people that they are stealing from individually? When you want to say, oh, these people are better, these people are better, it is only when you're talking about, even when you're talking about government. How many of the states, even in the deplorable states of Biafran states, of Biafran land, as bad as it is, states in Biafran land are still doing better than many other states of these people that all they think about is to steal from Biafran land. So at the end of the day, it is just few of their people that are stealing it that are benefiting. The rest of the people is just, oh, it is my brother that is in power. It is my brother that is president. It is my brother that is this, my brother that is that. My brother is rich, but you are poor. At the end of the day, the poverty rubs off on everybody. When we are fighting for the restoration of Biafra, we are not fighting for ourselves alone. We are fighting for everyone. Everyone in the zoo called Nigeria, we are fighting for you. Whether you know it or whether you don't, it doesn't matter. Whether you like what we're doing, whether you hate what we're doing, it doesn't matter. What we are doing is for your own good. Because you cannot progress on another man's wealth. It is not done, except the man gives you of his free will. And that is why our leader said that when we are free, when Biafra is restored, this oil that all of you in the zoo, you have your eye, oil and gas. We are going to spread it all over West Africa. West Africa is about 16 countries now. When Biafra is free, if Odua is still in Nigeria, which means it will just be one country away. Maybe if Amazonia is free as well, it will be two countries. But if Amazonia is not yet free, it will be one country away, so it will be 17 countries, which means we are going to be sharing our resource with 17 countries in West Africa. So you're still going to benefit from it. You're still going to benefit from it. You're going to benefit from it. So, but then it will not be the criminals that are going to be benefiting. The people as well will benefit a lot. The people as well will benefit a lot. So this resource that you have your eyes on, you will still benefit from it. Just let us go. That is just what we need. We just want to be free. It's not because we want the oil and gas for ourselves. No. It's not because we want it all to ourselves. We are going to be managing it, of course, because we are the best people to manage the oil and gas on our land. Oil and gas, even though it is good, but it's very dangerous to the health. And that's why Ken Saro-Wiwa died, because Ken Saro-Wiwa was fighting for Ogoni land to be cleaned, and in extension, the rest of Biafra land. But what did they do instead? They killed him. 30 years after, Ogoni land is still not clean. Ogoni land have not been cleaned. They killed him. So, to clean Ogoni land, who is the best person to clean Ogoni land? It's the Ogoni people. And it's not just giving one person contract that the people cannot monitor. No, that's not how we run things in Biafra land. Our culture has always been from the people. That's why we are naturally democratic. And anything that doesn't feel like democracy itches us. We are not comfortable. It's not the white man's democracy. Our own democracy is through freedom, not the white man's manipulation that he calls democracy. Just make people feel good, but you're still controlling them. No. It is the people on the ground that determines what goes on in their land. And everybody's contribution counts. That is our system in Biafra land. So, of course, we're going to be managing the oil, the natural resource, the oil and gas, so that it does not become poison to us. Because if the proceeds of the oil and gas, we are sharing it with the West of Africa, with West Africa. If the oil and gas begin to become poison, the rest of West Africa are not going to suffer it. It is those of us in Biafra land that are going to suffer it, because it's in our land. We are the ones to suffer it. So we'll manage it very, very well. But as for the proceeds, every other people will enjoy it. That's it. Others will as well enjoy it. You will as well enjoy the proceeds. So they chose that they must hold Africa down in the Berlin Conference. And they came, and Britain came, colonized Biafra. You know, I keep saying this. Many of our people are not even aware that Biafra was colonized differently from Oodua in the south. There were two amalgamations that were done. One was done in 1906, and the other was done in 1914. They only tell you about the one that was done in 1914, so that you would think that Nigeria is the north against the south. No, it's not the north against the south. There is the north. There is Oodua, which was called by the Britain Lagos Protectorate. Lagos was called Lagos Colony. And Oodua was called Lagos Protectorate. So they had Lagos Protectorate and Lagos Colony. Lagos Colony was the capital where Lagos Protectorate is being managed from. Lagos Protectorate is Oodua. It's what you have today as Southwest Nigeria. Then you have the Niger coast, which is Biafra land, and the Kingdom of Benin. the Niger coast by the east of Lagos Protectorate. In 1914, Britain merged the Niger coast and Lagos Protectorate, the Niger Coast Protectorate and Lagos Protectorate. In 1914, in 1906, that was when the first measure was done to have the Southern Protectorate. Then the Northern Protectorate was there. Then, in 1914, you should understand that originally, the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate were supposed to be two different countries. British Southern Protectorate and British Northern Protectorate were supposed to be two different countries. Were supposed to be two different countries. But along the line, according to what they wrote on the book, even though we know the underlying reason. Okay, let me first of all talk about the underlying reason that we're all aware of. The underlying reason, they know that the people in the South, because these Odua people, they are also smart people, unlike the Fulani. The Odua people, if everything is going on well, they love progress. They know that we Biafrans are going to influence them positively. Even though there might be issues in our ideology, because the ideology is way different from ours. The way to go about things is way different from the way we go about things. They worship leaders. We don't. We monitor leaders. We monitor leaders. We don't worship leaders. We always criticize. Yoruba don't criticize their leaders. We do. We monitor you at every point in time. We watch you. You're taking the wrong step. We tell you boldly. We don't worship leaders in Biafra land. So these are two different ideologies. But it would have been easier for us to cope, for us to manage ourselves, than with the North that is just entirely different. Entirely. Nothing joining us at all. So the North is very easy to control. Immediately, the Fulani empire was captured by Britain. Half of northern Nigeria was already captured. Half of northern Nigeria, very easy. And once you have captured the king, every other person bows. And those people, they saw that they have total control over their masses. Unlike in Biafra land. If you defeat that village, it doesn't mean that the next village will bow down to you. The next village will be preparing themselves. Oh, they have conquered these people. It means that it's our turn. You go ahead and conquer the other ones. The other places are preparing themselves. Even though the Arab Confederacy was supposed to be one unit, they did not conquer the Arab Confederacy at once. Even though the Arab Confederacy was actually one country, one government, but it's a confederation. If you conquer Aro, the other people are still operating the way they are operating. You have to come and fight them. So it wasn't easy for them. They kept on going from one to the other, going. Look at it now. When they conquer Aro, some of the soldiers, the remaining soldiers from Aro there, went to Delta area, and formed the Kumeku and continued the war. For about 40 years, they were fighting. But the north, when they got to the north, all they did was conquer Fulani. Then the other places were not so difficult. And Fulani was already ruling vast parts of the north. As they conquered Fulani, every other places that Fulani were ruling became subdued. They didn't need to go to Kano anymore to fight any war. They didn't need to go to Katsina. They didn't need to go to any other place as they conquered the emperor. Finished. Or whatever they were calling themselves. Islamic terminology they were calling themselves. So they saw that it was easier for them to manage those people. So they needed to use the north to manage the south. But at the same time, after that time, the north was very poor. The north was very poor. They only had granite. Granite was their major resource, which wasn't even bringing much. Meanwhile, in the south, there were just lots of resources that Britain was stealing and using to manage. You know, when you're running a business, you cannot be using your personal money to be running the business. You might try it, or if you have another business, you see that, okay, the money from this business, to be using it to sustain this other business until the second business stands for itself. So that was what Britain was doing. They were using the Southern Protectorate, money from the Southern Protectorate to manage the Northern Protectorate until a particular time they saw that this Northern Protectorate, it is not going to get any better. So we just need to merge them together so that we'll just be managing them together. Managing them as one, it will be easier to manage all of them as one. And still the remaining. So that was what gave birth to the 1914 amalgamation. That is the one that is on the book. The political reason is not written. The economic reason is what is written. You see some Northerners coming to brag and say, oh, is it not our granite that was used to develop oil and gas? Your granite. Your granite that could not sustain the North, that made Britain to merge the North and the South. It is now your granite that was now used. What about all the money that Britain was making, or that the zoo was making from Biafra land? You know, crude oil is not the first oil. Palm oil was the first oil. In fact, Europe knew Biafra land for palm oil, just as Ghana was known for gold. And different places in Africa were known for their resources. Biafra land was known for palm oil. And that was why Bayelsa, Rivers, Delta was called oil rivers. Those were the ports. That was where they were they were coming to get palm oil. It was called oil rivers. That's where the name River State was gotten from. It's oil rivers. That was the terminology that the Europeans referred to that region. And the oil rivers is not, it is, when they say oil rivers, what they actually mean is that the rivers ports, okay, the rivers ports, or should I say the seaports, from where they are getting the oil. But the oil is gotten from all over Biafra land, mostly from the hinterland. Our people in the coast living within the riverine area go down into the hinterland and get this oil, palm oil, and take it to the coast and sell to the white man. So that was Biafra's resource. And it served our people a lot. Our fathers made lots of money from that resource. And that resource is not supposed to be used to date. It's supposed to be used to date because it's not the kind of resource that dries up. Unlike crude oil. Crude oil will dry up, but palm oil doesn't dry up. It's a renewable resource. We're talking about resources. There are two types of resources: renewable and non-renewable. Renewable and non-renewable. Human resources is a renewable resource. Human resources is a renewable resource. But an individual, a particular person, an individual is not renewable. Well, it's renewable in the sense that he can write books if he has knowledge that people do not have. He can write books. He can document things that other people can come in and learn and develop. So to an extent, it's renewable. But when the person dies, you cannot get that person back. So for that particular reason, that person as a resource is not renewable. But the person's knowledge, the resource that the person has, the knowledge can be deposited in a book or in other means to store information, whereby other people can come in and learn and develop. So human resources is renewable. But natural resources, though not all natural resources, those ones that can only be gotten from the ground, when you dig down, you can't renew them. Gold is not renewable. Diamond is not renewable. Crude oil and gas, they're not renewable. But palm oil is a renewable resource. And the advantage to a renewable resource is that it depends on the owner. You can increase it. Depending on how much you manage it, that is how much it's going to produce for you. But a non-renewable resource is put there by God. If you exhaust it, that's it. The generation that exhausts it, that's it. It's over. It's gone. You won't get it again. That's why it's better to develop your country on a renewable resource than a non-renewable resource, because you can manage a renewable resource. Sometimes, depending on the terrain, a non-renewable resource can even cause disaster, earthquakes, and all that. But Africa is blessed, mostly Biafra land. Our terrain is stable. You know, I'm a geologist, so I know this thing by profession. Most of what I'm telling you is what I studied. So our terrain is stable, so that's why we can drill and drill and drill. If not, with the kind of foolish people that are running the zoo, and stealing from Biafra land, there would have been earthquakes every day. I am sure if Biafra land wasn't stable, like places like the US and some other places, they would have still gone ahead to be drilling from our land, not minding whether people would die, not minding whether there will be earthquakes. Of course, because what they are doing now shows that if our land wasn't stable, they would have done the same. We're just lucky that our terrain is stable. We have stable plates. So that's why there are no earthquakes, no matter how much they drill. Even if they dry it up, there will not be earthquakes. So, but in certain places, they have this crude oil, but they can't use it. They can't drill. If they do, their country is going to be destroyed, and there will be lots of loss of lives. So while all this were going on, in 1960, they said that, oh, you have become free. And when we tested that freedom, we saw that there was no freedom together with the Fulani. Our father saw in the 60s that you cannot have freedom living with Fulani. They have a skewed mindset. That does not have the kind of mindset that you have. That does not think the way you think. While you're thinking of progress and moving forward, he's thinking of taking your land and taking your life. He's thinking of stealing. So after we tested that freedom that Britain said that they have given to us in the 1960s, and we saw that we cannot have this freedom with this kind of people. So the Eastern Assembly decided to declare the Republic of Biafra. After there have been lots of lives of our people in the North, the Eastern Assembly put it to Ojukwu and told him, see, we have decided. And we have decided to go by our ancient name, Biafra. If you're still there trying to see what you can salvage from Nigeria and trying to see how you can make them understand why we can live together and not kill ourselves, we are going to pick another leader. Another leader that understands the plight of the people. So this is why sometimes I get offended when some people come up and say, oh, Ojukwu wanted power. Ojukwu wanted to be president. He wanted to be Lord. If Biafra had been free, Ojukwu wouldn't have left power. Ojukwu never even wanted this. Ojukwu never wanted it. It was the people that put it on him. And that is why every other person that backed out when they faced little challenges from certain individuals, they backed out. When you were the ones that from the beginning put it upon Ojukwu that if you do not do this thing, we're going to choose another leader. And you know how Biafrans are. If Biafrans had chosen another leader, Ojukwu would have been known in history as a coward to the Biafran people. He would have gone down in history as a coward. So the Biafran people told him, you must do this, and you must lead us out of Nigeria. We cannot continue. Ojukwu had no choice, and he did it. Knowing the cost, he didn't care. put his father's wealth and everything. But at the end of the day, what happened? Britain that told us that we are free in Nigeria. It was Britain that turned around to begin to fight us. It wasn't Nigeria that fought Biafra. It was Britain, together with her allies, that fought Biafra. People say United States, United States, United States. Before United States became free, United States fought the war of liberation, the war of independence against Britain. And United States had support. France supported them, Spain supported them, different Western European countries supported the United States with men and arms. But Biafra had no support. We fought Egypt. We fought the USSR. We fought the United States. We fought Britain. We fought France. Even though at the beginning, France was on our side. But at the long run, France pulled out and joined their brothers. And today, you have Shell, you have Chevron, you have Elf, Total, and all these other companies representing Britain, United States, France, Germany. Stealing our resources, setting up our people to fight communal wars. Ijo against the Shekiri. This one against that one. This tribe against that tribe. This community against this community. So that while we keep fighting ourselves, they'll continue to loot. So from then, after 1970, Yoruba, Fulani, together with Britain and our allies, signed a pact, not on paper, but on policy, to make sure that they will continue to plunder on Biafra resources, sharing Biafra resources as spoils of war. And this is why every man from the coast, whether you are Nizoman, whether you are Shekiri, whether you are Urubu, whether you are Isoko, whether you are Ibibio, whether you are Efik, whether you are Ijagan, every man from the coastlines of Biafra that says that you don't want to stand with Biafra, you don't want Biafra freedom, that you prefer to be in Nigeria, you are the worst fool in the universe. And the whole world is laughing at you. The whole world is mocking your foolishness. Because you claim that the resources belong to you, right? The resources belong to you. Okay. But your enemies, who you thought are your friends, whom some of you joined to fight against yourself, and that is why all of our people that stood to fight Biafra, all Biafrans, whether they are Igbo, whether they are Izon, whether they are Ibibio, all those people that stood against Biafra to fight against Biafra, Nigeria killed most of them and made them useless. The ones that did not kill, they made them useless. as Boro was killed in battlefront because his passion was just too much. He was too powerful. He was just too powerful. Thinking that after defeating Biafra, he will now stay free and now be choosing what will happen on his land. Your land that people are fighting to get. You are fighting to give them that land so that they can choose. Or so that you can now begin to choose with them. Why do you think they will allow you? They will kill you. Because the reason you're fighting and the reason they are fighting is not the same. When you as a Biafran and you stand up to fight against Biafra, the reason you're fighting and the reason those people that you're fighting alongside with, they are not the same. You're fighting to get money or to get relevance, to be relevant, right, in the politics. So that, oh, in Nigeria, they will recognize you. So that you have something. The vision is not the same. They'll destroy you first. And when they have created that illusion, they will now raise people out of that illusion that will follow them, just as they raise the politicians today. Look at Zeke, how did he end up? Kept on struggling to be Nigeria's president. Kept on struggling to be Nigeria's president. Alpha. With all his popularity, they will keep hailing him. When election comes, they will sway him, cut him off. Very popular, but powerless and useless. He thought by becoming president, he can change the course of things. They knew, but he has already fought Biafra. So when you begin to stand and say, oh, because I need this, I need that, for myself, personally, individually, selfishness. Until Biafra is free, you have nothing, you are nobody, you are nothing in this world. Except you're not a Biafran. But if you're a Biafran, you're nothing in this world. You mean nothing to nobody. You have no value. No matter the amount of money that you make, you have no value. You are nothing. You are a nobody. You are trash until Biafra is restored. If you understand this, your mindset will be different. If you understand that until Biafra is restored, you are nothing. You are nothing in this world. You are a nobody. You have no value. Your money might have value, but you have no value. Ask our brothers that have traveled all over the world making money. Do they have value? Do they value you? Because some of you, when you live in Biafra land, you have a little money and you have people bowing down to you. Oh, you're now a big man. You think you have value. Come out of Biafra land and see that you're nothing. Meanwhile, some other people that are poor and have nothing just because of the countries that they are coming from. Just because of where they are coming from, they are given respect. They are given respect just because of where they are coming from. You see why it's important to be free and invest in your country? What we are doing here and now is our investment in Biafra. We are laying a foundation so that those that were born in Biafra, when Biafra is a sovereign state, they will understand what it is. They will understand the value. And they will know what to do. So the chevron Shell, Elf, they are all the signatures of those that stole Biafra land. And where are the people giving them all the hands to do whatever they want to do in Biafra land? The Fulani and the Yoruba. I have nothing against Yoruba people as the people, but the truth must be spoken. As individuals, I don't have anything against the Yoruba people. I don't hate them. But the Yoruba elites have a policy against Biafrans. They have a policy for the Biafran resource. They have a policy for the Biafran mind. And that is why they will fight head on, fight tooth and nail, morning, afternoon, evening, night, to the next day, to make sure that Biafra land do not have seaports, so that everybody will go to Lagos. And all your investments, all your tax, you pay it in Lagos. All your businesses will be done in Lagos, so that they can benefit. And when you are in Lagos, you are their mercy. They are the ones fixing the laws. If you do not want to bend to their laws, they will break you. They can choose one morning and put fire in one marketplace. And that's it. The business is gone. You have to start all over again. They can choose to tell you who to vote and who not to vote. And many of their people join them to stop people from voting, to stop Biafrans from voting. Even though we have already told Biafrans not to vote, you have no business there. This man, how far? Peter Obi. When I was telling some of you last year that Peter Obi will not win, I saw some people saying that, oh, I am now working for Tinubu because I told you the truth. I told you the truth that Peter Obi will not win. Not that he cannot win, but they will not give it to him. Did it happen? It did. So, the people have shared our land. They have shared our resources as the spoil of war. And that is why they will do everything that they can to make sure that they distract us, to make sure they maintain the distraction. And that was why when Goodluck Jonathan was president, knowing that Goodluck Jonathan could use the powers of zoo presidents to put things aright in Biafra land, that could have made Biafra land maybe not 100% free, but 50 to 70% free. What did they do? They distracted him with terrorism. Used terrorism to distract him. While Britain, the West, is sponsoring the terrorism, it's obvious the West is sponsoring the terrorism in West Africa. It's obvious. While they are busy sponsoring the terrorism over there, Yoruba media was, on the other hand, blaming it all on Goodluck Jonathan, blackmailing Goodluck Jonathan. That is the alliance. While Fulani was busy doing the foot soldier work, foot soldier terrorism. And the West was busy giving them weapons. Yoruba media was, on the other hand, giving them media support. And afterwards, they chose to bring the terrorism to Biafra land. And when they brought the terrorism to Biafra land, all in the mean to distract us, to subdue us, to suppress us, to put us in fear, so that we cannot rise up and stand for what is our right. It is the same thing that they are doing in the Sahel, Niger, Burkina Faso, and that is why, with what is happening in the Sahel right now, very, very soon, terrorism from northern Nigeria will die a natural death. Because if Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali can hold their grounds very much, do not forget, it was Libya, opening of Libya, breaking Libya, the killing of Gaddafi, that opened that channel of communication to make sure that terrorism thrived in West Africa. So, with the Sahel being locked up, terrorism would die a natural death. Once Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger knows what they are doing, and they bond very, very well and fight off this terrorism, and France is no longer there to be supplying them with weapons at night and in daytime claim to be fighting terrorism. Terrorism in the Sahel would die a natural death, because those people will no longer be able to run their way through Niger, through Chad. It will now be left for those in Chad and Nigeria. But over time, it will be suffocated and it will just drown. In a very short time from now, terrorism in the Sahel will drown. But now these folks have metamorphosed, changed themselves, different colors. And right now in Biafra land, they have created different things, disguising, just to distract the people. But we are not distracted. We are not distracted. I'll be reading what I think it's a British paper. I think it's a British paper. They call themselves the 24 Crisis 24 Guard or something like that. On the 19th of September 2003, they wrote about Biafra. I'll read it, and I want to analyze certain things here and make certain things clear so that our people will understand. Okay? This broadcast is very important. It is important that you share this, because I do not know anybody. It's painful that we couldn't get on the radio to reach a wider audience. But that's notwithstanding, we must continue. So the news that is talking about Nigeria, Biafra separatist activities likely to persist in the southeastern states and Abuja through at least late October 13th. Okay. They said that activities are likely to continue. Say Biafra separatist activities. Separatists. They keep calling us separatists. As if they do not know that we're never Nigeria. How can people that were never Nigeria be separatists? What are we separating from? Are we separating from Biafra? We are Biafra. We have never been Nigeria. But you came here and forced us to be Nigeria. Now you're calling us separatists. And we're not separatists. So including protests, work stoppages, low-level armed attacks will likely persist in the southeast through at least late October. Protests supporting indigenous people of Biafra leader Nnamdi Kanu, currently detained in Abuja, are frequent in southeastern states, particularly during Kanu's court appearances. You see, in preparation for our leader's court appearance is why they wrote this thing, saying all this that they're saying. So IPOB activists may carry out protests and related actions such as strikes, also called stay-at-home or lockdown actions, notably in the southeastern states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo. Now, they are aware that our leader have called off the sit-at-home, okay? But somehow they still want to link it to our leader. I am not anybody that wants to do any sit at home is fine. But this crisis 24 must state it. The media must state it that our leader has called up any sit at home, whether for him or not. So people doing sit at home are doing it for themselves to satisfy their own conscience. It is their own choice, and it should not be linked to our leader. So when they are writing this, they should know what they are writing. So however it is, so IPOB activists may carry out protests and related actions such as strikes, also called stay-at-home or lockdown actions, okay? Notably in the southeastern states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo, and particularly on Mondays, a common strike day, or during Kanu's hearings. In recent months, there have been reports of emerging rival factions within IPOB and conflicting strike orders. Instead of them to state it that our leader called off the sit at home, okay, they are saying, they are putting it here in a way that, because if anybody that is reading this, anybody that is not following the activities of the Biafra movement will not understand this. The person will not understand this. So they are putting it in such a way that it will not look as if our leader have called it off. Okay? So if anybody come and say, oh, but you said this, they will come here and highlight it and tell you that we said that there have been counter orders. Okay? They will come here, they are smart. They will come here and tell you that we said that there have been counter orders. I'm not here to talk about whether the sit at home is good or whether the sit at home is not good. That is not what I am actually talking about here. Okay? Whether the sit at home is good or the sit at home is not good, that is a topic for another day. Maybe somebody else can handle that. I'm not particularly interested in handling that. But the fact here is that our leader has called it off on his own. So the sit at home or whatever can be done by anybody that wants to do it, but not being attached to Mazi and Kanu. In addition, security officials often attribute acts of violence targeting civilians or security forces to IPOB militants, look at how they put it, or its armed wing, known as Eastern Security Network. The Eastern Security Network have nothing to do with the activities, okay? The Eastern Security Network, they are suspected IPOB ESM militants killed at least 5 police officers during an ambush and all of that. The Eastern Security Network is busy protecting our land from terrorists. The Eastern Security Network is not after security officials, except those security officials are in the forest protecting terrorists. That is when they might have clash. So whoever is on the streets attacking the security officials is not Eastern Security Network. And they have not said that they are Eastern Security Network. Okay? They have not said that they are Eastern Security Network. You see, the Eastern Security Network is already popular and everybody knows the Eastern Security Network is associated with IPOB. So when you see them writing like this, they always want to paint it in such a way so that they will have something to say, so that they will have something to hold. It is good that you face those that are facing you and call it what it is. Okay, the Eastern Security Network is busy facing the terrorists in the forest. Disciplined, facing the terrorists. Except they are, on the other hand, trying to tell us that the security officials of Nigeria are actually fighting side by side with the terrorists, with the Fulani terrorists in Biafra land, in Biafra forest. Except that is what they are telling us, then I will accept this report. But if that's not what they are saying, then this report is false. Security forces will likely deploy to monitor protests or related actions. Security forces, instead of them to say that the army, look at it, instead of them to say that the army is usually deployed to clamp down on protesters, on armed protesters. Look at how they painted it. You see, Britain is very wise. Their media is very smart. And you must be smart as well. Security forces. So they just generalize it. So people will just think that it is just police. And because a white man reading this, whereby he doesn't know that it is possible for army to clamp down on protesters. He will not understand. He will just believe that these security forces that is written here, okay? He will believe that the security forces that is written here is police, and that the police doesn't go there with AK-47, not knowing that the police goes there with AK-47. Security forces will likely deploy to monitor protests or related actions. Can you see? Monitoring as if they are just escorting. How did Akbarawa Menje die? Did the police just escort them? Did the police just monitor? Or the Nigerian army came there like as if they are fighting war, shooting protesters aside? When you want to write news about Biafra, put it straight. Tell the world the way it is. Don't come and be playing games on us and expect that we are not going to debunk it. Protests or stay-at-home actions will probably affect business and transport operations. If demonstrations do occur, clashes with security forces are likely. Can you imagine? They are using the word clash. Clash. Are you saying that these people are preparing? They are preparing. This is a threat. I consider this a threat because what is happening here is that they are telling you that if you come out to protest, you will see that they will mention Abuja, which means they are preparing to shoot IPOB members that will go to Abuja on that day of our leaders' court hearing, as we usually do. Just go there to observe the court hearing and hear from the lawyers. They are planning evil now. They are planning evil. They're talking about, say they may likely be clashes. They are planning evil. Officials will almost certainly increase security and prohibit vehicle and pedestrian movement near the Federal High Court of Abuja during the next hearing. Are you seeing? Can you see that? During previous hearings, tensions arose in the court's vicinity as security forces allegedly barred Kanu's legal representatives from accessing to the courtroom. Security operations against separatists in the southeast could lead to localized transport disruptions. Security forces may establish roadblocks and checkpoints. Further armed attacks targeting security forces are possible. Kanu faces numerous charges that include terrorism. IPOB and other Biafran organizations have been calling for protests and strikes since August 2021 to press the government to release Kanu. Are you seeing they are saying that our leader is facing charges that include terrorism? Charges that include terrorism. IPOB seeks the independence of the southeastern region following the previous attempts at independence by the Republic of Biafra, which sparked a 3-year civil war that ended in 1970. Deep divisions remain between Biafra separatists and the central government. The Federal High Court of Abuja labeled the group a terrorist organization in 2017. The so-called Biafra region geographically includes various southeastern states, including Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River. You see, in 2021, before those people picked our leader, they came up with something and was saying that they describe Biafra to be the 5 southeast states: Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi. Today, they are now putting the story right, including Bayelsa, Cross River, and River States and all, say inhabited by the Igbo people. They're not putting the story right because we did not accept that lie. And that's why we shall never accept any lie. Look at the advice. Say, avoid all protests due to the potential for clashes. Anticipate business closures and disruptions. No, let me take that first line. Avoid all protests. This is to tell you that Britain is working side by side with Nigeria. This thing that they are saying, clashes. They are not Nigerian government. How do they know if they are not working together? That is why you see they've been postponing. They are trying to see how they can prepare the media so that the same thing they've been doing, killing our people in Southeast, they can do the same in Abuja. So they are preparing the media stage for that to happen. That's why you see it was supposed to be 14th September. They have pushed it. We don't even know the current date anymore. because they know that our people will be there. Whether they want to come and give one false judgment. Tinubu, maybe Tinubu want to do one magic, the same way he did with Peter Obi. Want to do one magic and give one false judgment. Now they are saying that our leader, Mazi Kanu, is being accused of terrorism and all that. Among all those charges, when did they put terrorism? Except maybe somebody else will tell me about that. I'm not aware of any terrorism. But here, Britain is already cooking up something. Cooking up something that does not exist. And preparing the minds of people so that when it happens, they will say, yeah, this is how it has been. And yes, there can be clashes with security operatives in Abuja. Have there been any clash in Abuja? If they are not planning any evil, if they are not planning to give one false judgment, but it's not going to happen. They have no choice. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. They have no choice. The only choice left is to release Mazi Kanu. That's the only choice left. You must understand that the game is over. Britain, you must understand that the game is over. The game is over in Africa. Initially, you thought it was only the Biafran people that knows how to fight for freedom, right? Look at Niger. Look at Mali. Look at Burkina Faso. Whoever thought that the Nigerians would stand up against the French? Whoever thought of it one day? But look at it. Your game is over in Africa. You want Biafran gas, but you don't want Biafran people to be free. How is that going to happen? This same Biafran gas, this same pipeline that they put through Niger, and they did not anticipate because they thought all those countries are under the control of France. They are all their territory, so they can just line it up. Let Biafrans be fighting, they don't care. I told them, when these their fights with Russia started, I told them on radio. I said it. I said, you need gas. You're not fighting with Russia. We have this gas. The best thing for you to do, come and free Biafra land. We discuss. You buy our gas, you enjoy your gas. But they said no. We'll keep you in bondage. We are Europe. We have ruled you for many years. We'll control your land. We'll control your people. We'll control your politicians. But do you control the creator? Of course you don't. We control everything. We'll take it. Okay, now take it. Niger now I've told you that you cannot take it. Because you passed through their land. Now you're not fighting everything tooth and nail. But it will not work. The only choice you have is to bring UN to Biafra land and conduct referendum. From Biafra land, you don't need all those pipelines going through other countries. We have access to the sea. From the sea, we can connect you to Europe. But you know that you cannot do it now. You know that you cannot tap from our sea to Europe. You know. Because there are people that are not happy with it. And the gas, most of the gas is in Igbo land. Most of the gas is in Imo State, Abia State. The places that are hot. You now carry it and now pass through the whole of Biafra land, through the coast, and I'll be going to Europe. It will not be funny. So Niger now have kicked you out. You still need gas. You're still fighting with Russia. We are not fighting with anybody. All we need is our freedom. So if you also need gas, it's very easy. Mazi Nnamdi is still there. Release him. You're the one that put him there. It's Britain that put him there. The time to continue to take Biafran resources as your spoil of war is over. You must recognize that it is over. That generation is gone. That dispensation is over. And you must realize that it is over. The game is over. The game is over. What is left now is for you to free Biafra land. You need gas. Come and free Biafra land and have your gas. We discuss. Of course, you know that you cannot cheat us. You cannot run us over. We discuss. You pay the way it is supposed to be, and you have your oil and gas. You have your gas, and you can do without Russia. If that is all you want. If that is all you want, then you can do without Russia. But Russia will frustrate you in West Africa. Russia have the Sahel region. That time where you manipulate things is gone. You're no longer the one in charge. Elohim is now in charge. Tamara is taking over. You're no longer the one in charge. So you must respect people. It is time for you to learn to respect the dignity of other people. And you must respect the dignity of Biafran people. You cannot take Niger by force. And you cannot force Niger to allow pipeline to pass through their land. What are they gaining from it? You want to gain everything. You just want to muzzle everything and continue to control everything. Are you God? Did you create this world? Did you create all the people in this world that makes you feel you just control everything? No, things are not done that way. Now the Sahel doesn't belong to you anymore. It's not just Niger. Almost all the countries where it runs through are not with you. So you continue to suffer. You continue to suffer until you realize that the Biafran people must be free. And Mazi Nnamdi must be released. At this point, we shall call it a day. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you. Ensure you share this message as much as you can. This is Voice of the Coast. And I am your host. My name is Kimiowei Tari Nemi. Thank you very much. God bless you.